Hi, I'm Chad, and today in the shop I'm going to be making a square bowl out of this piece of catalpa. The first thing I'm going to do is mark corner to corner in order to get the center of the piece. Then I'm going to drill a 3/8 inch hole and mount it to my worm screw drive. That's just my preferred way of starting a flat face bowl. And you could do it between centers. I'm going to use the tailstock for support also. So first thing I'm going to do is turn the tenon and then start shaping the outside of the bowl. I find the easiest way to begin this, to put the tenon on, is to work from the inside toward the outside and flatten the piece out. Start making your tenon. I'll go in with a skew, clean up the tenon, and work just the basic shape of the outside of the bowl. As you're working on the inside of the bowl, you're going to want to be aware of the corners. Obviously, you don't want your fingers to be in the way of them. You want to enter your cuts slowly. And one thing that can help a lot with that is something that contrasts with the wood that you can put down underneath, and you can see much more easily exactly where those corners are. One other thing I should have mentioned is that after I just flatten out the front, I'm going to come around to the back side and give it a little more shape and bring the corners up a little bit higher. I like the look of a square bowl that has high corners, so I'm going to try to get that as high as I can once I flatten out the front side. Then I'll come back and start hollowing out the inside. now that I've got the back in a nice form that I like, I'm going to come around to the front side or the inside of the bowl and start hollowing it out. I'll probably work both from the center out and from the corners in. As I'm getting down to the final thickness, I'm going to just be working from the corners in, and you don't want to back up once you've established the thickness of your bowl. So you want to be real careful to take some delicate cuts and show you how it's done, hopefully. I've made progress on the front, and I think I'm at the point where that's about the thickness I want the bowl to be. So I'm going to try to stay away from these corners and just continue working my way down and bringing the whole side of the bowl to about that thickness. It looks like about maybe just over 1/4 of an inch. And also, if you have one, a curved tool rest can be pretty handy to keep you away from the corners. Another thing you can do is put some bright colored tape or something on the corners, a little paint or something, so you can see where they are, because you definitely don't want to hurt your knuckles on them. this is basically our bowl. The next step is going to be to sand it. I got pretty clean cut, so the sanding should go smoothly. The first thing you want to do, and I find this works best for me at least, is I'll use the stop on my lathe and hold the piece stationary. And I'm going to use a power drill with a sanding attachment. I'll probably start at 120, then 180, 220, 320, 400, probably up to about 320, 400. First, I'm going to, with the 120, kind of hit any end grain tear out, any just funky spots that I see, any grooves, line, tool marks, stuff like that. Do that on both sides. And then I will probably do some sanding with it moving and some without while it's stopped. But let's get started. Our bowl is sanded now. I sanded it to 320, and now the next steps are to go to the belt sander and smooth off each of these. we've pretty much got our finished bowl here. The last step would be to remove this little nub, sand it smooth, then put some finish on it. Usually I use Danish oil on most of my bowls, but this is catalpa, and I'm not really crazy about catalpa. So I think what I'm going to do is a second video where I will sandblast this because it has a semi-porous ring structure. I'll sandblast it to remove the more porous wood, then possibly stain it, then fill that grain in with a contrasting color, which should make for a cool effect. So I hope you'll come back for that video, and I'll see you next time.